So we are going to begin, before I begin my sermon, with a little embodied meditation, and then maybe we'll have that at the end too, so that we can experience just a little bit of the nap ministry while we're here. So leaning back into your chairs, if you're here in person, letting them support you. If you're at home, you can feel free to recline wherever you are. You could even take your computer to your bedroom and lay on your bed. Find a comfortable spot on the floor. If you're sitting, consider rooting your feet onto the ground in front of you if that feels supportive, or you could stretch your legs out long. Just let your body kind of wiggle around and get as comfortable as you can and find its way into a position of rest. And if it feels comfortable for you, let your eyes gently close. Notice your breathing. Sometimes when we pay attention to our breath, we'll have that reflexive, nice, deep inhale that just comes from turning our attention to it, almost like a yawn breath. Notice how it feels to be in your body. Notice any areas of comfort. Notice any tension. And send a prayerful wish or place a hand on any part of your body that feels tense, if that feels good. Just sending some nourishing energy. Feeling how your body might be breathing a little deeper now, almost reflexively, when you begin to rest. Invite more oxygen into your lungs and take an intentional, deeper breath if that feels good. Maybe inhale deep from your belly and suspend your breath in just for a moment. And then slowly releasing your breath as if you were slowly letting air out of a balloon. Maybe doing that again if that feels good. Just suspending the breath in, releasing it slowly. I'm going to speak for a moment about dreams. Dreams are the gateways to our imaginations. In this restful state that you're in, I invite you to begin to, in the words of Tricia Hershey, imagine a world without limits. Imagine a world without oppression. Spend some time here. Visualize softness. Visualize compassion. Visualize joy and play. Visualize care for all beings. Breathe here. Stay here a little longer. Envision a world centered in justice. What do you notice? What is life like? Where is the goodness? Where is the joy? Welcome to your dream space, Hershey says. A download, a daydream. Stay here. Stay in rest. Stay in the dream space. Our collective rest will save us. You are enough. Our dreams are enough. This is imagination work. A portal opens when we slow down. You can rest. Continue to breathe as you release the layers of tension and invite ease for a few minutes of restorative silence, starting now. And I'll ring the chime when our silent meditation is over. Welcome back, everybody. Take some time to gently open your eyes. And ready to hear our sermon. So, I just want to begin by saying I know that it might feel a little counterintuitive during a time in our nation and in the world where it really feels like we need to be extremely active and responsive. And I just want to name that the nap ministry, or, escaping from grind culture, that this is complementary to the action that we might need to take, and that I preached this sermon several years ago. Tricia Hershey started her nap ministry before COVID-19, and then it kind of wove into that in an interesting way when we all had to rest, but also respond. Another interesting thing that happened to us collectively a few years ago. I am preaching it now because I am really concerned about the tactic of flooding us to get us to burn out and then not be able to respond at all. And so I think it's important, that the flooding that's intentionally happening right now, that is a tactic. It is meant to harm us, just the amount that we could respond to, or the new things that are coming up every day. So, and I'll also remind us that, I'm not being very direct right now, but that in our personal shares or in our sermons here, that the only thing we're beholden to not do here as religious people is promote a candidate for, or be against a candidate for election. It's very important that we continue to speak our values, and that if our values are for or against anyone who's in any public office, that it's important for us to remember that that's part of being spiritual or being religious people, and that is completely within our right to do so. So, feel free to express your values when we are in discussions with each other. But I'm going to focus on Tricia Hershey's work, and we're going to reflect on what benefit it might have for us to consider her ministry today. So breathe with me again. If you're brave, breathe in and exhale with a sigh. It's amazing that we live in a culture where breathing and sighing can be acts of bravery, right? Because they're so far outside of the norm of showing up in a social place. So let's do it again. So this is the grip that the grind culture has over our bodies. And this is why rest and listening to our bodies is an act of resistance. Just in that right there. Our time together today is an invitation to imagine a new way of being or remember an essential old way of being and loosen the grip that grind culture has around our bodies and our lives. Our bodies are made of the earth. We are made of ancient elements. We are minerals, air, and water that dreams of flowing to the lowest point downstream. Toni Morrison once wrote, "All water has a perfect memory and is forever trying to get back to where it was." And our bodies, these bodies of water, these bodies that are mostly water that we live in, I believe they remember an ancient way. They long to return to their natural, flowing, rested way of being. So as I said, today's service and sermon is inspired by the work of Tricia Hershey. Tricia Hershey is a womanist. That's a form of theology coming out of the experience of Black women. She's a womanist, she's a performance artist, a poet, a community organizer, and is known as the NAP Bishop. She's the founder of the NAP Ministry and authored the book, Rest is Resistance, a manifesto. She's a modern day prophet, reminding us of an ancient truth that our bodies know what they need. And if we listen to our bodies and yield to this truth collectively, communally, and most importantly, lovingly, then we will find our way out of the grind and out of the grip of the grind culture and the toxic capitalist white supremacy culture, and into the arms of sacred rest, but so much more. This is more than naps. This is more than naps. This is more than just naps, she says over and over again. That is one of the practices of the ministry. That's how the ministry began, but it's more than that. So the NAP ministry has 4 tenets. These tenets were revealed to Hershey over a series of months, and she deepened into rest as a spiritual practice of liberation, and these came to her. Rest for her and for all of us is a way to heal from grind culture, as I said, and in her healing process, these tenets were revealed to her. So here they are. 1, rest is a form of resistance because it disrupts and pushes back against capitalism and white supremacy culture. That's the first tenet. 2, our bodies are a site of liberation. 3, naps provide a portal to imagine, invent, and heal. Naps provide a portal. They can be used as a tool to imagine, invent, and heal. And 4, our dream space, she uses this phrase, dream space, our dream space has been stolen and we want it back. We will reclaim it via rest. Those are the 4 tenets of the NAP ministry. In answer to the question, who is resting for? Hershey replies, rest is for the weary, for the hard workers, for those trying to make a way, for those making a way yet still suffering from disconnection, for those wondering when they will be able to get a full night's sleep, for those thinking they aren't worthy enough to sleep and don't deserve rest because they've been socialized to believe this. For the faith workers and those out on the front lines, those raising children and trying to do what's best, to the entrepreneur, to the unemployed, to the blue-collar worker, to the white-collar worker, to those brainwashed by a system that has taught you you aren't enough unless you produce. Rest is for all of us. Resting, however, and our participation and therefore needed extraction from grind culture, which is a byproduct of capitalism and white supremacy culture, will look different for each one of us. So it's very important, very, very important that we remember, especially if we are white or not black, NAP ministry is rooted in the embodied black experience. This is important because the embodied black experience holds the ancestral memory of slavery, as well as stories of those who resisted this oppression and dreamed new ways of being. And it's important that we respect that. Harriet Tubman, conductor of the Underground Railroad, has been a muse for the NAP ministry. Prior to escorting many formerly enslaved Africans to freedom, Tubman woke up from a prophetic dream, a prophecy in a dream, shouting, "My people are free." Shouting, "My people are free." She'd seen it in a dream. The imaginal landscape of her dreaming mind helped her to bring about a revolution in the waking world. Hershey herself has also experienced a prophetic dream that prompted her to birth her own ministry, that prompted her to birth the NAP ministry. She was sitting on her couch late at night at the end of a long day in the grind, commuting to work and school and home again for more work and study. She was actually in seminary and it was killing her. She fell asleep with her notebook open and had a dream of being swaddled, of receiving the rest her tired, overworked body deeply needed. And her dreaming mind showed her what was possible, a glimpse into a new way of being. So now, whether this was a dream, this dream was a premonition, or a spirit message that served as inspiration, or both, the experience of deep rest in this dream helped Hershey actually wake up from the grip of grind culture and move into a ministry of rest for herself and for all of us. She wanted to share this with us all. Her next step, her next response to bring this dream into reality was to deny the grip of grind culture and gift her body with rest. A metaphor, if you will. Walking is a way of moving forward that always involves falling. With each step, we reach out a limb, we reach a foot into the void, and we fall forward, trusting that the ground ahead will catch us. Moving forward into a new way of being, into a new cultural expression, is like walking. Moving forward into the unknown with a little bit of a fall, trusting that we'll be caught and that we'll be able to keep taking more steps. Moving forward into a new way of being, one nap at a time, one untethered act of resistance at a time. Oh my gosh, I really shouldn't rest right now, but I really need to. We keep on moving forward until all people, until all beings are free. So the NAP ministry, you see, it's about rest, yes, but as Tricia says, it's so much more than taking naps. It's decolonizing our bodies, unlinking our physical beings and our lives from a culture that doesn't respect life, that doesn't respect us, that uses us, one might say abuses us. And if you think this culture respects your life because of the color of your white body, then you can think again, because it doesn't respect any of us. It uses all of us. And although it's true that it uses some in more obvious ways than others, so it's complicated. The NAP ministry is a shape-shifting work, a culture-shifting work, and a work of dreaming a new liberated way of being. And so, of course, it does actually include the actual act of napping, right? It's not like it's not about naps. Closing your eyes and laying your body down to rest in a space where you feel safe to do so is just such a lovely thing. And if you go online and look at her work, there are just these beautiful pictures of, I don't think she calls it this, but I'm going to call them sleep-ins, right? Like people bringing their pillows and blankets and sleeping together. And beautiful photos that she's had taken of her and her community of black women sleeping in fields, and just so lush and gorgeous. So it is about napping, but it's about something deeper, something spiritual. It's about the belief in the value of ourselves, that we deserve to rest, that we actually deserve to have what we need, that we deserve respect, that we can respect ourselves, and that we're more important than the machine. It's belief in listening and responding to our bodies as a spiritual practice. It's belief that worn out, overtired, tired to the core bodies deserve liberation. So I have a section here in my sermon that I'm going to leave out, but I invite you, if you want to have further conversation, to discuss womanist theology with me, because I want to give us enough time for discussion. And I do have a section here where I explain the tenets of womanism, and there are 4 tenets of womanism, and how Tricia's work links to womanist theology. But maybe we'll talk about womanist theology and those tenets in a different sermon. So Hershey's ministry began with the collective napping experiences in 2017, and she recalls that the first event was to be a one-night-only art installation. That's the history of the birth of the movement. It was scheduled for only 2 hours, but people fell into such a deep state of restorative communal sleep that it could have lasted all night long. And she describes that people often wake up in tears at these now regular collective napping experiences, crying from the realization of the depth of their exhaustion. At the beginning of each collective nap experience, Hershey reads the nap ministry invocation as an invitation and a, quote, transmission to open the portal of rest. And we are going to hear these words now. We're going to have an embodied experience rather than an academic experience of her work. Okay? So to receive them and to honor the restorative justice and resistance work of the NAP ministry, I invite you to lean into the energy of sacred rest. And as I said earlier, if you're at home, this might be easier to do. You can recline on your couch, lie down on your bed or floor, grab a pillow or wrap a blanket around you if you haven't yet. And if you're here in person, just make yourself comfortable in the ways that you can. It's always possible to rest in any space that we feel safe to do so. This space is intentionally open to rest. We don't need anything but ourselves in order to rest. So settle into your chair, plant your feet on the floor, or stretch your legs out and lean back. Take another nourishing breath. Find a comfortable spot or position to rest while we receive the transmission of Hershey's words. This is her invocation to rest. The doors of the Knapp temple are open. Won't you come? This is an invitation for weary souls to rest. This is a resistance. This is a protest. This is a counter narrative to the lie that we all aren't doing enough. We are enough. This is a counter narrative to the lie that our worth is tied to the grind of capitalism and the lie of white supremacy. You are enough simply by being alive. Thank you for living. Thank you for resisting. Thank you for creating. Thank you for dreaming. Thank you for resting. We believe that our healing can visit us while we are napping, while we are resting, while we are sleeping, while we are slowing down. We believe that naps provide a dream and visioning space to invent, to create, to heal, to imagine. This is what resistance looks like. Won't you come? This is a resistance. This is a protest. As you continue to allow this message, this invitation and invocation to wash over your mind, body, and spirit, I invite you to take a few more breaths, sensing that you're resting with your community, whether you're home or here in person. When we're close to one another, our hearts entrain with one another and begin to beat as one. Feel the people who are breathing near you. May the spirit of the Knapp ministry be a companion to you in the coming days and years of your life as we dismantle supremacy culture and dream weave our way into collective liberation. May all beings be happy, may all beings be healthy, and may all beings be free. Amen, amen, ashe, and blessed be. And without any rush, whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes to look around you. Notice the energy that feels different in our room. If you've fallen asleep, then that's really a great success. So, yay you, although you can't hear my words right now. And as we do, the floor, the mic is now open. If you have anything you'd like to share about this experience, you are welcome to. You're also welcome not to.